bit about the DocuDraw feature. So what I'll do here is just start by sending an envelope. In this case, because I know the use case is related to chimpanzees and conservation, I created a little document that's just image of a zoo map. So this is just your typical DocuSign flow. And then what we have here is the drawing field. And so when you place a drawing field, you're essentially giving your signers the ability to draw anywhere within the drawing field. You can make it required or not required. You can allow an image upload or not, meaning essentially if you don't allow it, then if you do allow it, then your signers will have the option to click upload and then browse their desktop to actually upload an image instead of drawing it something. And then just your other same, this is helpful for any sort of, data processing after the fact, being able to reference it in your API calls and other, document management systems. And then obviously the location. So pretty simple from the sending side. I'll go ahead and send that to myself, and so you guys can see what it looks like from the sign side. So on the sign side, when you get this document, you'll see that there is a DocuDraw field. In this case, it is required. So as a signer, I'll go ahead and click on this, and it zooms in on the boundaries that the sender had surrounded with the drawing field, and really lets me as the signer draw anywhere. So say I want to add something here, I can say, all right, we want to plant some trees here, and we offer all of these different colors. You can do different colors, multiple different colors, but the width is going to apply to all of them, caveat. And then the other thing that I mentioned is this upload. So because I allowed upload, it would let me as the signer actually upload an image to actually, and that would be rendered on the document itself. So in this case, that's pretty much the entire feature from the UI side. It's really useful for a few different use cases. I know with, like we said, like with JGI, with the conservation stuff, with car insurance use cases where insurance companies need to have a picture of the car and have the signer point out where in the car the damage is done. There's use cases in the medical field, especially, showing kind of like where on the body there's injuries and different places that will need to be operated on and various things like that. So that's pretty much it from the UI perspective. So once I go ahead and save that, I can show you kind of what it looks like in the finished document. And then I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about what the API JSON might look like. I see a question, can we provide images that a user could drag and drop? So the couple answers there. So we don't currently support drag and drop. They would actually have to upload, but I think what you were just saying is, can you provide the images? And that would have to be done offline. There's no way to like attach an image to the DocuSign or the DocuDraw field. So let me just show you what it looks like real quick. So as you can see, this is the Word document, and now we have the document and the three squares that I drew. You can definitely add images to a document. Yeah, so I think that question was, can the sender provide images to the signer? That was my understanding. If you're asking, can the signer provide images, then I mean, yeah, that's the whole point. We also have an attachment field, which allows users to upload attachments to the document as well. So now I'll go a little bit into what the API JSON will look like. It's pretty similar to any other tab that you would put in the API. You would use the draw tabs, and that would fall under just tabs. A few of the properties that are a little different are allow signer upload, which is what I talked about. Is do you want the user to be able to upload an image? And then we also have the use background as a canvas parameter, and so that's really the gist of DocuDraw. I think we have a few more minutes, so I'll go ahead and show you what the attachment field looks like, because it seems like there's a few questions in the chat about that. So if I go in and add an attachment field, so here's the drawing field, and then we've got an attachment field, which is here. So with an attachment field, this is how it's really just uploading a file. So I'll just find some random image or some Word document in this case. And so what you'll see is that actually attaches it to the end of the document, whether it's a picture or a form. Whereas if I were to upload, actually this won't actually do a docx, it'll only do an image. So let me see if I have an image in here somewhere that I can do. No. So yeah, that's the difference between the drawing upload and the attachment upload. So now if I download the document, you'll see the difference. Can there be a comment included with the user drawing? I'm not exactly sure what that question is asking. I think what you're maybe referring to is a tooltip. So let me see if this answers your question. So if I do this and say, here's a drawing field, like I want, please like mark where you want to save the trees or plant the trees. So there's the tooltip, which I'll show you, which shows there, and then there's also comments just in general, which where to plant trees. So now comments aren't drawing specific. If you annotate an image with a drawing, can I have an accompanying comment? Got it. So I see what you're saying. So as the signer or as the sender, right? So you can see the tooltip that I posted. You can see here it says, please mark where you want to plant the trees. So in that sense, the note from the sender is linked to the drawing field. As the signer, there's no way to like specifically link a comment to the drawing field. You could add a comment next to the drawing field. This is where I want the trees. But there's no way for me as a signer to specifically put a comment on the drawing field. The sender can. So I hope that answers your question. Cool. So that's about it on the drawing field. Perfect. Cool. Glad we answered your question. Um, yeah. So then that's about it on the DocuDraw field. Um, I'll stay around for just like a couple more minutes to see if anyone else has any questions while I'm here. Nope. Okay. One's coming in. Drawings get so the question is, do the drawings get saved with the document envelope? Yeah, so I never actually, yes, it does. It shows up. I can just show you what the envelope ends up looking like. Oops, that's not the right one. There we go. So this, so um, you can see in this case, right? So the document was just a blank Word doc with this image, and then the 3 squares that I drew um, just are now burned onto the document where I drew them. Cool. Um, if that's everything, um, I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. And thanks for listening and asking questions, and best of luck. Will I be doing another one of these later? Probably not. Um, but if there's any questions, I'm sure uh, some of the hackathon people can help out. All right. Thanks, everyone.